And this brings me to the heart of the matter. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to get to this, but I think what I really want to express is what my core thoughts are regarding these controversial free speech stories, the Danish cartoons, the Innocence of Muslims movie, the Charlie Hebdo cartoons. Innocence of Muslims, I just thought it was a shitty movie. I thought that it kind of made fun of the Prophet Muhammad, but in a really amateurish and ham-handed kind of way. And I don't know if it's partially because I'm an artist myself. Yeah, so I didn't really care for that whole Innocence of Muslims thing. I think they had the right to do it, but just my personal take, I didn't really care for the movie. But I did very strongly stand behind the Danish cartoonists and the value of what they were doing. And I strongly stand behind the Charlie Hebdo cartoons as well. And I remember one thing that turned my stomach back when the thing with the Danish cartoons went down is how quickly even high-profile Christian clergymen, etc., spokespeople were, and perhaps with Judaism too, but how quickly high-profile representatives of other faiths were to condemn or bash these cartoons. And this might be somewhat incendiary or hyperbolic, but when people blame the cartoonists, I think it's, and here's another flawed analogy I'll probably catch flack for, I almost compare it to when misogynists blame women in short skirts or whatever for being raped. And yeah, there is a difference. You know, a woman should be able to wear whatever she wants without having to worry about being sexually assaulted. And whether or not what she's wearing is provocative is in the mind of the beholder, and it shouldn't matter. With the cartoon, satirical cartoonists go out of their way to be provocative, you know? But I thought that was disgusting when even people of other faiths tried to put at least some of the onus on the cartoonists back when that controversy hit. And actually, there's maybe one or two Charlie Hebdo cartoons that kind of made me wince or cringe a little. I think there was one that showed like a naked Muhammad lying face down on a table with someone putting like a video camera up by his rear end. I was like, whoa, man. But some of the Charlie Hebdo cartoons I thought were absolutely brilliant. There's one I posted to the Facebook page that shows a decapitated artist, you know, someone who's just been decapitated by an extremist, and you see a guy in Muslim garb holding a bloody scimitar, but his eyes are bulging and his jaw's dropping in disbelief because the decapitated artist is kind of spreading his neck stump open and blowing a raspberry at the terrorist, kind of like to say, you know, you can kill people, but you can't kill ideas. You can kill me, but free speech lives on. You know, I loved it. And there's another one that shows a Charlie Hebdo cartoonist kind of French kissing either Muhammad or just someone in Muslim garb. And in the background, you can see the burning rubble of the firebombed Charlie Hebdo offices. And the caption was something to the effect of "love, not hate." And I thought that one was kind of brilliant too. And there's another one I really loved. It shows an ISIS terrorist beheading Muhammad. And Muhammad is kind of saying something to the effect of, "Wait, it's me, Muhammad." And I think the point of the cartoon is that some of these terrorists are so extreme or have such an extremist interpretation of their own religion that even Muhammad might not be up to their standards or might end up needing to be killed by their standards. And it's funny, I've been watching the Young Turks, and I want to kind of give a shout out to people like Dave Rubin and Jimmy Dore, who were really staunch in their support of these cartoonists. And then there was Ben Mankiewicz, who I usually agree with on a lot of things. But Ben Mankiewicz was acting almost in a paternal way, like handling Muslims with kid gloves. Like we have to be worried about every Muslim's feelings, saying that he obviously thought it was wrong to kill the cartoonists, but that he thought that some of the cartoons were in bad taste and stupid, and that they were too provocative, and that they probably make Muslims around the world feel bad or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Boo-hoo. And I'm not saying this to be anti-Muslim. Just on a recent episode, I told you about the different things I actually like about Islam, and how if you name a religion, I can tell you things I like about it. But I'm saying it because I think freedom of speech has to be paramount. And on a practical note, I'm not sure how many Muslims around the world are actually reading Charlie Hebdo and seeing these cartoons. But in fairness, as I said, we're all connected by the web, where things go viral and are easily accessible. But if you're easily offended by these things, and if you belong to a religion and your beliefs can't even stand a satirical cartoon, maybe you should either, examine your own faith or examine the merits of your religion. And actually, with the exception of a couple of examples, I actually, I don't, as I was just alluding to, I don't find the cartoons in bad taste at all. And I think one mistake that a lot of people make, a lot of people who are perhaps being too PC in this regard, is that they kind of equate political satire with kind of schoolyard taunting or provocation. All of us, if we had decent parents, were probably raised to not bully, not tease. If you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. But I think political satire is far different. It's a completely different animal. Political satire is a powerful weapon to speak truth to power and point out hypocrisy. So to me, it's not about, oh, yeah, well, some of those cartoons go too far, but freedom of speech. No, I don't think the cartoons go too far. I think that political satire is a very important component of free speech. It's funny, I think there was a well-known American political cartoonist on Lawrence O'Donnell, either the night of the Charlie Hebdo attack or the day or the night after. And he said something really funny about, there's that certain power of political cartoons. It's like, it's a message distilled into one image, and you can't really combat it. For instance, he was saying, like, this guy in particular likes to draw Mitch McConnell as a turtle. He's like, if I draw you as a turtle, what you can't really, there's no intellectual comeback. You can't say, hey, I don't look like a turtle. You know what I mean? So it's kind of funny. But it's true that there is like a lot of power in political cartoons if they're done right. I mean, not every political cartoon is a winner. Some are stupid. Some just don't get the point across very well. But when they work, they're brilliant. The ability to get a powerful message out or to point out hypocrisy with one single image. But anyway, since I already read 2 criticisms of me, I might as well read the third. Someone else came at me, in a manner of speaking, on the HuffPost. And this is also on the Week in Doubt Facebook page. And this is someone named Joel A. Omer. And he's replying to the same comment that other guy did, where I say religions are man-made belief systems. We should be able to criticize and lampoon them like anything else without fearing for our lives. So keep in mind, he's replying to that same message. And he says, Phil Albertelli, no, all caps, capital N, capital O. Criticizing Islam, Islam also all caps, can get you killed. No Jews or Christians shot any newspaper employees. And I say back, Joel A. Omar, your comment seems like a bit of a non sequitur. Did I ever make any false claims about Christians or Jews? I'm an agnostic atheist. I don't believe in the supernatural claims of any religions. That being said, I freely admit at this point in time, you're much more likely to be killed for insulting Islam than any other Abrahamic faith. I'm not sure where our point of disagreement is. And I'll say, in fairness to Joel, he actually gave my reply a like. Yeah, I don't want to be an apologist, because I do stand by that at this point in time, you're much more likely to get killed for criticizing Islam than you are for any of the other big religions. But that being said, we should be intellectually honest and remember that even this day and age, people do still get killed in the name of Christianity. And not that long ago, an abortion doctor by the name of George Tiller was killed by a Christian extremist. And remember, Bill O'Reilly used to incessantly report on Dr. Tiller, and he used to call him Tiller the baby killer. And then should we be surprised when someone eventually shoots the guy? And then yet most of the abortion clinic bombings took place back in the 90s or something like that. But I think it wasn't that long ago, might have been a couple of years ago, that there was a firebombing of an abortion clinic. And I think in Christian Africa, right now, there's still there's people being killed for witchcraft. And we know that homosexuals are being persecuted by African Christians and threatened with death. So we do have to be intellectually honest about this stuff. So this whole show is basically off the cuff, but I did have like an outline. I'm trying to see if I missed any of my little bullet points. I think I covered everything. So it should go without saying, the idea of killing a living, breathing human being in the name of religion, it's asinine, it's grotesque. There may or may not be a higher power. Who knows? I'm doubtful, it goes without saying. But if there is a creator, he probably doesn't want you, if he's a God worth worshiping, killing your fellow creations, killing your fellow human beings. I believe that religions are entirely man-made. Their supernatural claims are man-made figments. The idea of killing someone in the name of a long-dead quote-unquote prophet or a fictional deity, it's grotesque beyond words. Your God may or may not exist. Your fellow humans do exist. Don't kill them. All right. Not like the extremists are necessarily going to be listening to me. But I almost forgot there was a Salman Rushdie quote that I wanted to leave you with. Religions, like all other ideas, deserve criticism, satire, and yes, our fearless disrespect. All right, you guys know the drill. Like the Facebook page, follow on Twitter, check out the YouTube channel. If you want to donate, go to the bottom of the Weekend Out Podbean page. I don't know how it ended up at the bottom. There's a PayPal widget you can use to contribute to the show's upkeep. Who knows, maybe someday I can do this for a living. I don't think so, not yet. But I'm going to keep doing it either way. So until next week, thank you for listening.